Hey, what is up guys, and welcome to my channel and for a new build for Stranger Paradise. Today I have a really unique build for you guys using katanas. We can do some really silly and fun stuff with it. Katanas have some really fun abilities that you can play around with. This build is very customizable, so you can mix and match your abilities and weapons to fit your playstyle. The damage is really insane no matter what you go for, and you can do just about anything in the game. Although I will show you my preferences, but feel free to play with this build however you like. I had such fun with this build as katanas are just my favorite weapon type in the game. I just really enjoy chaining all the abilities one into another from the Ascension stance. It's an absolute blast, so let's get right into the build. Alrighty, so firstly let's go over the jobs that we are using. We're using the Warmage class or the Dark Knight as our main, then for our secondary class we are once again going to keep it to the Shadow Master class on the Ninja. Once again, Ninja is mostly used so we can easily max out our MP at the start of every fight, and using one of his tools which will allow us to tank 3 attacks from the enemies. For this build, all you will need for the affinities on your ninja is 250% of your samurai to get bonus damage on chain cancel, at least 120% on your summoner so we can chain cancel to reach max MP. That is all you need on a ninja, so now let's have a look at our main Dark Knight. We are going to be using the Warmage class, and this basically works just like your regular Dark Knight, but will increase your damage even further and will also reduce the health drain when you are at full HP. Another reason why we are using the Dark Knight in particular for this build is that you can inflict the dark element with your attacks. As you know, when you are fighting bosses, inflicting the same element more than once is not really viable. If you had inflicted, say, the wind element from your weapon ability onto the boss's first phase, then inflicting that same wind element again is a real pain in the second phase. Which is why we use the Dark Knight, as it will give us a secondary element. For the bosses, we always activate your main ability on the second phase, so we can get that easy kill by inflicting dark on top of any other ability that you are wanting to use. As for the normal enemies, having your Soul Eater active will just do so much extra damage that it's really just great to have. There are quite a few affinities we need for this build, and all of them are actually really important. Firstly, we need our Tyrant to 400%, so all our attacks on enemies afflicted with an element will critically hit. It's those critical hits that will do the crazy break damage. Then we have 400% on our Black Mage. We need this because we are using Chaos Bringer, and that will eat away all of our MP. This affinity at 400% will have us recharge our max MP with all the magic damage that we do. Then finally 400% on our Dark Knight so we can have our near death effects active all the time. Another 2 affinities that are really useful to have are 250% on your Assassin to get bonus agility stat on your abilities. On one of my weapons, I did get this affinity to 400%, so I was able to get increased break damage. If you do happen to get this to 400%, then make sure to have 400% Assassin on your Ninja as well. So if you do end up changing jobs during the battle, then the increased break damage bonus from your Assassin will not go away. Then another affinity that you can get is 120% on your Breaker, so you can get bonus MP recovery on Soul Burst. Now let's have a look at the most important part, which is the weapons. There are quite a few weapons that you can choose from, so it will all depend on what abilities you like. You can choose from any one of these katanas that have these abilities on them. All of them are really great to use. The katana with the Ren Goku and the other ability are really good at mobbing. The abilities cover a really big area and tend to pull in smaller enemies towards the attack. It's not the best for bossing as the spacing is really crucial. Sometimes your attack will not hit the bosses and it will just blow up behind them. It is still a great ability, but just not the best for bossing. Then we have one with the weapon with the NP and the Denim ability. It's mostly the ability that sends out the large shockwave that's really good. It's good at both mobbing as well as bossing. It works best when you are up close to the enemies. If the shockwave hits the enemies from far away, it sometimes tends to not do much damage at all, so being up close is the best way to use this weapon. Then finally, the best katana is the one with the Goten and the other ability. This is the best katana in my opinion. Goten is the fun ability to use and it can hit from really far away. The other ability that sends out tornadoes is totally insane. It's so amazing at mobbing and it will pull all the enemies towards the tornadoes and break them near instantly. Also super amazing at bossing as it just hits so many times, and pairing it with your Dark Knight Soul Eater ability, it's absolutely ridiculous. It is definitely the most preferred weapon of choice for this build. Even if you don't have the weapons with these abilities that can fit with your affinities that you need, then just using the regular abilities that you have access to are also amazing. Make sure you have these abilities set to your Ascension stance. If you want to mix and match the attacks, then feel free to customize them as you please. The stats you will need across all your gear pieces is Intellect, agility, and damage during Lightbringer. The reason why we get damage and not more break damage is cause all these abilities do little to no damage at all. Without the added damage boost, you will not do great break damage even if you do add in break damage bonuses on your gear. If you have the affinities as I am showing you, then add in damage during Lightbringer. If you don't have them, just add in near death damage dealt, as it would be the better choice overall. The command abilities we are using are once again Lunatic for faster attack speed, then we have Summon Tachi for increased damage, and then Onslaught for more break damage. If you're finding it difficult to maintain your MP, then add in Lancet or even Magic Regen. But mostly I just get my MP recovered from soul bursting enemies, and it's just more than enough. Here is a look at our master points I used for the Dark Knight. That is it for all the weapons and gear pieces you will need for this build. For how you want to play with this build, it all depends on what you like to use and your playstyle. Before you start off your fights, always have your MP maxed out and then just use a tool and chain cancel out of it straight into Lightbringer. Proc all your commands and go ham with the abilities. If you are facing a lot of the smaller enemies, then just have your main Soul Eater ability active as well. If you are bossing, then don't activate Soul Eater ability until you get to the second phase. If you do it in the first phase, then inflicting the status effect again in the second phase can be a bit difficult unless the boss is weak to that status effect. For the regular missions, you won't even need to go into Lightbringer. Just using the Garo ability is enough to break nearly all the smaller enemies. Then just combining it with your Ascension Stance's normal attacks, you can beat just about anything. Still, my favorite is the ability of the Tornado Spawns. It's best at doing everything and even being able to take out the Warrior Light quite efficiently. It is a super customizable build, so have fun with it. Hope you guys enjoyed the build. It is super fun to always be able to use the katanas, and these abilities are just that. Both fun and being super powerful is just what you like to see. What did you guys think of this build? Let me know. I would love to hear from you all. I will catch you all next time.